One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Cats and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we also got Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis on. Nicole, are you there?
Hi guys, good to
now, Nicole, you get to go. You go to the Oval Office all the time, and me and Rita. It's only once in a blue moon. Huh?
I've actually only been there once. I was there actually after they redesigned it. It is, Rita, it is an incredible experience to be able to walk into the Oval Office of the President of the United States, particularly, as a daughter of immigrants, to have that experience was one of the most amazing things. The President is always very gracious with all his guests. And he allows you to, take photos and walk around and be able to really experience the whole thing. So I'm glad that you were there today. And this time last year, we were there signing the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut Package, which now a year later, after everyone has filed their returns, and if they've compared what they paid this year to last year, I'm sure they saw significant savings because we had that quadrupled SALT deduction. We were able to return what seniors paid in Social Security back to them. We saw the increased child tax credit, which helped millions of families across this country. We also saw no tax on tips and overtime. The average deduction for a tipped worker was $7,000, which is significant. And, all the other things, like doubling the standard deduction, for example. These were all part of this important package that was signed there a year ago today, and so we're really happy.
But you have one more job to do, Congresswoman. Congresswoman, you have one more job. You have to get Congress to pass legislation saying that people who just come to the country to have a baby are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and therefore are not automatic citizens under the 14th Amendment. You can do it even though the Supreme Court ruled the way it did.
Well, your legal opinion obviously very much matters and is significant here because I think that's the question. The question is, could we do it without it being challenged in court? What exactly is constitutionally protected? And I know that in 1868, they were speaking specifically about slaves, and when it was challenged 3 decades later, the person who challenged it was actually the son of legal immigrants, somebody who had permanent residency here. They were not here illegally. And so there is a question as to what can Congress do today to clarify that law. I think most people would think that the people should at least be here legally if they are going to have a child here that would be born as a U.S. citizen. And so, I think this is going to be a big debate going forward in the next few weeks.
I agree. But I think there is a way of Congress legally and constitutionally saying that certain people are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And I think that's the only opening that the Supreme Court left. And Congress can fill it. If, obviously in the Senate you need 60 votes, so it's not going to be easy to do. But I think if these votes could be gotten, I would be very happy to argue the constitutionality of such a legislative provision, and I think I would win.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, and we spoke to Ed Cox before, and Ed Cox lived there with Tricia Nixon for 3 years.
That was her base.
I guess that's better than one visit or 2 visits or 3 visits to the Oval Office.
I'm jealous. And guys, here at the White House, there is something so incredible about being here right now on July 4th. You could tell the president is in such a great mood. He loves this country. And all the military sentry around him, all the people around him. The other thing, I just want to say one thing about how sharp and adept this president is. While I was there were so many different faces coming in and out because, of course, he's leaving in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to probably see his departure just a few feet away from me here when he leaves to go to South Dakota. Every single person, he looked them in the eye, he knew their name, talked about a particular duty that he had to assign them or an old friend. It was really extraordinary. He is sharp as a tack, and yet he's also so adept as he's talking about something like Iran, talking about Russia. Then the next moment, seamlessly talking about a tree outside at the White House, saying, oh, it should be this feet high. It should be this. One of the other things, too, I just want to share another just amazing piece of history. I got to watch, obviously, look at the Walk of Fame where you see all the presidents. You see the picture of the auto pen. The president obviously loves that. You see the new Rose Garden. Also, there is a piece of furniture that I just saw here. It is from 1770, before the country was born. Every place you turn here at the White House, there's a piece of history. And I feel like the luckiest person alive to see it firsthand today.
Well, wow.
One thing, there are people who abuse history. The mayor of New York sat at the desk of George Washington today and attacked the United States and demeaned America and, talked about how we should become a socialist country. Sitting at the desk of George Washington. What an abuse. What an abuse. What a desecration to have Mamdani and George Washington. Mamdani, he didn't even mention, when he praised explorers, didn't mention Christopher Columbus. Left him out. He talked about, others, Henry Hudson, but he left out Christopher Columbus, and he probably would have left out George Washington, too, if he hadn't been lucky enough to be able to sit at his desk. So, he's not a person who really loves America, and yet he's the mayor, of our great city.
Nicole, what did you think about that?
Professor Dershowitz, what a contrast. What a contrast to right now being with this president, who I was so blessed to be with moments ago, who loves this country. You could tell he is so excited to celebrate the 4th of July, 250 years. This is the man who wanted to see this country celebrated each and every day. There's no president, I think, that loves this country better than him and appreciates our role in the world.
Well, guys, Professor Nicole, anything else you want to say before we take a break? Go ahead.
I just want to say one last thing because they brought up Mamdani's speech. I have to say, you would think the guy would get up there and simply say thank you. Thank you to this great country that he was able to come as an immigrant from Uganda and be able to become the mayor of the largest city in the country. Where else in the world would that happen except for the United States? That's why the United States is so exceptional. It doesn't matter where you came from or how you started, you can achieve greatness. And that's what he should have said. But instead, he decided to point out everything that he found wrong with America. And I think that was very shameful, and it was a missed opportunity for him as an emerging leader, which we hope he'll stay where he is. He doesn't emerge anymore.
The only thing I disagree with you, I think he could be elected mayor of Tehran. I think he could be elected to the government of Iran, but not any democracy except America. But, he's rooting for Iran. He's rooting for our enemies. And that's what's so terrible, to have a mayor like that of the great city on July 4th. But thank God we have good mayors, good presidents, good members of Congress like you, good senators, and great, great, great journalists like those of you who are on this show who have common sense.
Well, Professor Dershowitz, Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you for coming on today. Happy 4th of July weekend. And Rita, stay on. And guys, and let's take a break, and we're going to come back with Andrew Giuliani. And he wants to talk about soccer, how well it's doing in the United States. And let's take that break.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?